And so, but a lot of people do, which is, I just have learned not to do it because I'll get bit. So
But what did you say about lupus? You can treat lupus by giving
right.
someone.
So it's in laboratory animals, and there's people that do. So we call it biohacking. I don't know if you guys do anything with that or not, but there's a lot of people out there that are basically have read the literature and they go out and get a worm to treat their lupus or their relapsing remitting MS or their severe
Mhm.
allergies or whatever.
So we're talking about people who get worms on purpose, and this can treat autoimmune problems.
Oh yeah, it's very yeah. That there was a study by Jorge Correal published in 2007 in Argentina, just showing beautiful study, just showing he had a whole bunch of people with relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis, which was a death sentence at that time.
Yeah.
Especially in Argentina, it could still be because they don't have access to modern therapeutics. But the bottom line was the ones that accidentally picked up an intestinal worm, their MS just absolutely stopped progressing. So that beautiful study, Jorge Correal, 2007, yeah, really nice work.
So they pick up an intestinal worm, and the MS stops getting worse, at least.
Yeah, it stops relapsing. You don't have another relapse.
Oh,
So,
okay. So they just don't have another episode. Wow.
yeah, it's amazing, and it goes back to these. It was 1972 when Peter John Preston was looking at a bunch of. He was in the British Army. He was a surgeon in the British Army, Royal Navy, and he's looking at a bunch of his soldiers in India, and every single one of them, he's kept getting these reports over and over again. I've got this worm. I picked up a worm. I need to get rid of it. And they were picking up the giant round worm, which is not a worm you want to get. So it lives in your large bowel. It's about yay long and it hurts. So they would get rid of it. But the thing was, their seasonal allergies that they had had for their whole life went away. And another guy named John Turton in 1976 gave himself a bunch of worms, probably too many worms. I mean, his seasonal allergies went away as long as he had the worms. So, really slick.
Wow. Wait, so they would go away, but they would only stay gone if the worms were inside him.
That is, yeah. If you get rid of the worms, then the allergies will come back. Yes, that is correct.
Wow. Okay, so the idea here is basically that the immune system, it's going to have some like basal level of activity directed at something, and it's a question of what's it going to be directed at? Is it going to be directed at some worms that are in your gut, but at a tolerable level? Or if they're not there, it turns into a pollen allergy or whatever.
Yeah, so there's three basic ways that the worms work, right? And one of them is exactly what you said. It's compartment utilization. So if you're right now, you probably have pieces of your immune system which have nothing to do, absolutely nothing. Your mast cells, your eosinophils, your IgE producing B cells, they just don't have anything to do.
They're just sitting
because
around.
you've never been exposed to these worms, right? So but you're a male, so you have less risk than if you were a female, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. But anyway, the bottom line is that is one thing, compartment utilization. But the other thing is that these things create regulatory networks that sort of loop back and tune down your immune system overall. They're not immunosuppressive, right? There's no evidence that you're more susceptible to infection. You're just more susceptible to a bad reaction causing allergy, autoimmunity, or neuropsychiatric problems. So that's two, right? It creates these regulatory networks. And then it also is compartment utilization. And the third way is one that I think, unfortunately, modern medicine is really interested in, is that the worms produce their own bioactive regulators.